Hello, guys. I hope you're well. So, this week I've been thinking a bit about how from the day we're bombarded with messages telling us who we should be, and how it can be difficult figuring out who we truly are. We can often try to become the person we think we should be. I know I have. And for a long time, I thought the problem was me. I thought I wasn't disciplined enough, ambitious enough, or productive enough, or even brave enough. But looking back, I think part of the problem was that I kept trying to build a life that didn't actually suit who I am. Almost like an acorn trying to grow into a sunflower. There's nothing wrong with sunflowers or oak trees, but trying to grow into something that doesn't suit you can make life a lot more difficult than it has to be, I think. It took me a long time to realize that I wasn't actually failing at life. I was just trying to build the wrong one. So once I stopped trying to force myself into someone else's idea of success, life actually became quieter, gentler, and strangely easier. I only wish I'd realized it sooner, actually. I spent years being so hard on myself over not being productive enough or successful enough in the ways that society judges success, or even conventional enough. And it took me a long time to realize that I was trying to grow into something that didn't suit me, and that it's okay to tread your own path, even if others don't understand it. I thought I was lazy and lacked ambition. For as long as I can remember, my energy has never been consistent. I later discovered that a lot of it was actually explained by the genetic conditions EDS and MCAS. But for years I simply thought I wasn't trying hard enough. Because I couldn't keep up in the way that I thought I should, I struggled to make money, and I started measuring my worth by how hard I had worked. I became a people pleaser. I overcompensated by trying to be endlessly adaptable and available. I thought that if I couldn't prove my worth through endless energy or a conventional career, I'd prove it by never saying no. I kept trying to grow in conditions and roles that didn't suit me. I also kept trying to start businesses to prove that I could do something. But I didn't stick with them long before moving on to the next. And I tried so many different ideas, such as cross-stitch design, custom graphics, enamel pins, writing, live streaming, so many more. I lived based on other people's expectations and criteria of success, basically. As I said, while I was trying to find success, I kept starting and stopping things because I was trying to find the right life. And quite frankly, I was impatient. I felt behind, like I was underachieving and not enough. I saw the girls that I went to school with getting degrees and starting careers, starting families, and I tried to set up several businesses with no knowledge and virtually no resources. And I realize now I didn't just want to prove myself, but also to everyone else that I was capable. I thought the answer to all my problems was a lot of money as well. And don't get me wrong, having money definitely makes life easier than not having it. But as I've gotten older, and after a particularly tough year, including grief and losing our home, I realized it wasn't the money that I actually wanted. It was the autonomy, the creativity, nature, and above all, actually, peace. But my self-esteem was chipped away at after each failed attempt to achieve something. And little did I know at the time, I was actually building just the right skills needed for something that came along and suited me perfectly, and is not something that I would ever have chosen or considered before. I don't actually want the high stress, high status of a successful life I thought that I was supposed to want. I don't want something to show off. I just want a quiet life that supports who I really am. My mind and my body do better with a quieter, more flexible and unconventional rhythm. So, finding what suits me. It wasn't until I started helping my partner with his live stream that I started finding the life that suits me better. Helping him, I was able to contribute in a way that was flexible, quiet, creative, and from home. And as it turned out, all of those failed attempts at building a business actually gave me all the skills I needed to support his work and help it thrive. I design merchandise, do the accounts, moderate on the stream, and generally do the more behind the scenes work, as well as running the home. For a long time, I struggled because I felt I was just a support role and didn't have anything in my own right. Although I couldn't see it at the time, it was a slower growth that allowed me to build a home and later, now, develop work that actually feels very personal and meaningful rather than purely conventional. Looking back, I realize I wasn't becoming less successful, I was actually becoming more myself. I started building a life that actually fits my values, my health, my nervous system, and my temperament. I also delved into the world with frugality and built on the skills I had already started to develop to run the home on a budget. This enabled us to make certain choices and also took the pressure of us being a single income household. It's also a reminder that not all contributions involve making money. In fact, one of my favourite phrases is actually a penny saved is a penny earned. One of my favourite programs has always been The Golden Girls, and there's an episode where Rose is talking to her daughter about how there wouldn't be much of an inheritance. The daughter said, "But you always told us how successful Daddy was." And Rose answered, "He was a success as a human being." That always stuck with me, and the older I get, the more I think Rose was right, actually. We never stop growing. And I think a lot of us spend years trying to become sunflowers because we've been told that they're more impressive. They're tall, bright, they grow quickly compared to oak trees, and they are easy to admire. But maybe the problem isn't that we're failing to become something beautiful. Maybe it's that we were never meant to be sunflowers in the first place. Oak trees, they grow slowly and maybe don't get as much attention as sunflowers, but they put down deep roots. They have a quiet strength and can provide support to others. Sometimes becoming who we're meant to be isn't just about adding things. Sometimes it's about letting go of things that no longer fit the life we're growing into, including letting go of the image that we hold of ourselves, which is something I'd love to explore in a future video, by the way. Growth doesn't always look like becoming more. Sometimes it looks like becoming more yourself. The acorn doesn't carry its shell forever. At some point, it has to split open. Not because it failed, but because it's growing. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you've enjoyed your stay here, and if so, you might like to subscribe as we explore other topics in future. Take care, and I'll see you soon.